studying, in his time away. So it was fun having him out there. I think he's ready to go.
So Todd, did you have to start like yesterday, start back over because you finally got everybody here?
No chance. No chance. I mean, they got to catch up on their own. That's the idea. We're in the world of iPads and being able to look ahead, and we've been in contact with those guys. And from what I've seen, the guys that weren't here, again, it's great to have them here. It's always better when they're out here practicing with us, but again, that's their responsibility of being pros.
Todd, Lamar just said your outspokenness on the field is starting to rub off on him. He feels like he's being louder on the field. Do you like that? Do you like that idea?
Well, it should have nothing to do with me. It has a lot to do with the quarterback and the communication and the epicenter of what we do, whether starting with the center and then the quarterback. So if that helps, then great. It means I must have to keep doing it, then to hell with it. So, that's the start of what we do. Quarterback being loud.
Todd, the last year made about the addition of the wide receivers to this offense. There's a lot of good tight ends on this roster. You come from Georgia where you were able to utilize multiple tight ends. Do you see a way that you can get all three of these tight ends involved in this offense?
I think so. I mean, it's there's nothing like having talent. I mean, it's the way it is. There's only one football still, but utilizing multiple personnel groups and trying to fit the pieces of the puzzle together, utilizing their skill set when you can get the best matchups. So I'm excited to work with them. We still haven't put the pads on yet, but from what I've seen, with adding the wide receivers that we have and the tight ends that have been here, it's an exciting time.
Does the versatility of guys like Likely and Cola help kind of utilize them in this offense?
For sure. I mean, the more versatile you are, the more things you can do with them.
Talking about the tight ends, how do you see someone like Zachary Thor continue the run blocking ability?
Well, he adds a different dynamic than the other guys. Again, as we just talked about, is specific skill sets. So what are they elite at? What is it that some guys are elite at one thing, some guys are elite at a couple different things, some things you can utilize. So obviously, from what I've seen in the past, Pat has not been out here, but what I've seen in the past, he brings a certain element to our team, a toughness element, the ability to run the football, and he's embraced that role.
Todd, how much have you seen Lamar, improve in running your scheme, what you want him to do from day one of OTAs until this minicamp?
Well, he's embraced it. He's embraced trying to be louder, trying to be in control. He's embraced learning the system, and we still got a ways to go. It's always a work in progress. We're always under construction in terms of making sure that we execute at a high level, because execution trumps everything. I'm a firm believer that I've said it for years. Cool is out, execution's in. The cooler we are, the less we execute. When we go out there in the field, it's not about being cool. It's not about that. It's about your preparation that leads up to practice. You fight like heck during the week so that come game day, it comes to life.
And from what you've seen, how has his execution
Good.
shown through?
Good. And it's, when you're on the practice field, the fun is being out there and going through the trial and error and the mistakes you make. That's part of it too. We're doing the same thing as we're putting this together as coaches and players.
I asked Lamar Jackson this, but with his emphasis on all these new passing weapons and everything, how much pressure do you feel to hit metrics or so forth with his team, and how much do you spend kind of saying it needs to be better than what this offense was last year?
Not a lot. I'm comparing it to last year. Don't really think of metrics in a term of like where we've got to be. I mean, I think it's real simple what my job is. I think that's real simple. From just our job's to score points, right? The defensive coordinator's job to stop them, and then how you get to that varies in a lot of ways based on your personality, your scheme, and then who you have. So, but at the end of the day, it's really a lot simpler than that. How do you score more than they do? And I'm paid to score. That's what they do. As an offense coordinator, you're paid to score points. Some of the other things are just a piece of that. Not that I'm against metrics or analytics. I'm not. I don't mean it that way. I just mean It's a lot simpler than that, and then trying to fit the pieces in the right spot.
You had Odell with Cleveland, obviously. You don't know what he can do in terms of catching, but route running. What do you think his impact would be on Lamar from the standpoint of talking about having the keys to the offense and what he brings from an IQ standpoint?
I hope he brings a level of trust. I think that's part of quarterback receiver play, be it running backs, tight ends, wideouts, is a certain level of trust. I think that's developed over time. That's why it's great that he's here, because you get to work together. You get a sense of trust, where they're going to be, how they're going to adjust, how they're going to change routes. That's a big part of it.
If I could just underline how it's best for OBJ to get off, and you think about the production that he had with you, but then also how things changed in the latter years of him being with Cleveland and Baker, and then also, how Sean McVay figured out some things, with him in the Rams, and just how much time you really, as an offensive coordinator, giving your headspace as the entire offense to really dig into a player individually to unlock him.
Great question, and that comes with time, because as you stated, I was with him in 19, so do I see still a tremendous football player, a guy that can separate and route run and loves to play and brings a certain amount of energy and juice and experience. And then as we practice more together, as we get more together, now we try to fit it together, but he's always going to be crafty. He's always going to be able to find a way to separate. Where that ends up, X, Z, F, that's to be determined, but all that, is just trying to figure out where that fits, and that also with the other pieces, Zay, your tight ends, you brought in Nelson, getting Bate back, and we haven't even had him practice yet. So fitting that all together is really a big part of it, but it's fun to try and figure out how to fit it together. You don't always have that.